I don't know how much time I have to talk about this, and I don't know that I'll have time later in the day, but it feels important to me in this moment to express, and that's kind of what this whole thing is about anyway. This whole channel, this whole life experience. So here we go. Self-loathing. Self-loathing is the topic. And as far as it could be called a topic, the experience of it. I don't even know where I want to start with this. It's something I've been exploring. What I have really been diving into more so in recent months than ever, because this has been a practice for a while and a journey for a while, but it's been a process, a learning process of really how to do this. And I'm sure for some people it will come more naturally, it will be more obvious than it is to others. For a persona like the one that I had built, it was immensely challenging because a lot of my energy was wrapped up in mental activity, and which all I'm saying about that is that tends to mean I engage from the mental space with anything that I'm doing, and engaging with feeling, with the objective experience, the non-judgmental experience of feeling sensation, which includes the sensation of thoughts moving through you also, which includes the witness of those thoughts and hearing them and hearing their own judgment and feeling all of that arising. It led me into a sort of space where I thought I was doing it. Doing it is not even the right word. There's nothing to do. That's also kind of critical as well. This is an allowance. This is an allowance of experience. This is a softening, a relaxing, a breathing deeply into whatever is being felt. Yes, this applies to the external world, but by my understanding and experience of it, the internal application is far more transformative, far more important. The surface level kind of then just comes after the fact as a result of that. But even everything that we're experiencing in the external reality, what we call the world outside of us, we're experiencing our internal reactions to. There's always this sort of layer of sensation that might appear to be directly delivered by the outside world. For example, you touch a red hot iron and you feel heat, you feel the burning of your flesh, but really the experience of touching the iron and the experience of feeling burning are not the same. They're happening at the same time. I don't even know how to really put this into words. The sensation is the dominant experience. I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that ultimately all you are experiencing is not the outside world, but your perception of it. And so the same is true of the inside world, of the world of those inner perceptions of thoughts and feelings, and ultimately all sensation. And so something that I realized in reading the account of a Buddhist monk. I'm not sure what kind of Buddhism. There are so many different branches, but clearly this individual, whatever his branch of study was, was very interested in the internal experience of sensation, and he was talking about the emotion that we call jealousy, and saying that when he started his practice, and he's a monk, he's been a full-fledged monk living in a monastery for many, many, many years now. When he started his practice, and for many years into it, he said he had an issue with jealousy, that it was an emotion, a sensation that would recur, and that he didn't know what to do about. Essentially, he felt sort of controlled by it and trapped by it. And finally he realized what was happening was not that the jealousy was a problem. It was simply that he had an aversion to the experience of jealousy. He was averse to experiencing it. The reasons are ultimately irrelevant. They have to do with judgment. They have to do with the discomfort of the sensation itself, maybe the unfamiliarity of it or the association of it with certain events. But I think in large part the judgment of it is something that is inappropriate, that it's inappropriate to experience this sensation. And so whatever story we're telling ourselves about it, it creates an aversion. It creates an aversion to the experience of the sensation, which means we're not really feeling it. We're not accepting it. We're not seeing it clearly. And I began to realize that I had all of these sensations that I was averse to feeling. And something like self-loathing being one of them. Sensations that were wrapped up in story. This rain is amazing, by the way. It's getting stronger. Sensations that were wrapped up in stories. Stories about why I should or should not be feeling them, why they are a good or a bad thing, what kind of danger they might pose to myself or others. All of these stories really just serving to create an aversion to the experience of this sensation. And in realizing that, and that my aversion to it not only kept it following me, but kept me from appreciating it, kept me from seeing it clearly, kept me from allowing this energy to flow. Oh, we have little tiny hail. Ultimately kept me bound to it and by it. And so if I desired freedom, and if I desired to see the world and myself clearly, then I would have to walk into these sensations. I would have to, one by one, as I discovered them in myself, discovered what I was averse to feeling, what thoughts I was averse to allowing passage through me, and the sensations that rose from them. This is probably going to get kind of loud. So hopefully you can still hear me, but and every time I found myself in the situation of feeling that aversion, to take a deep breath and to walk towards it instead, to invite this experience, to drop the story around it, to do this. I'm enjoying using this word unframing instead of reframing. To just unframe it, to discard any narrative around it, to see that this is a sensation, this is an experience. That's it. It doesn't mean anything. There is no meaning to my feeling this other than it is an experience for me to experience. And all experience is equally valued and equally appreciated. I am an infinite being, exploring the infinite depth of myself, of existence. That's it. There's no inherent meaning in anything. The meaning is having the experience. That's what's meaningful. What is meaningful is experiencing. What is experienced has no meaning really baked into it. And this is how every experience can be appreciated, can be enjoyed in a different way. It's a different sensation. It is a different sensation from what we would typically call enjoyment. It is. Because it's an enjoyment that is not absent of pain, of despair. It's not absent sensations of dislike. Even disapproval can be there. It's an underlying layer. It's going deeper, going underneath the sensation you're experiencing, even if that is layers of it, and even if one of those layers is disapproval, is some sort of judgment, and just saying yes to the experience. Just opening, just relaxing into the experience. It doesn't mean anything. So you are perfectly safe in it. You are perfectly safe to experience it. It's not dangerous, and it's not a problem. And so all of these darker, denser, negative sensations like self-loathing, like hatred of any kind, like fear, like anger, even aggression, vengefulness, all of that is just sensation. The aversion to it keeps us not only bound to it, but controlled in that way. And so when we simply walk towards that which within us we've felt this aversion to, all of the story starts to fall away. The story about this self-loathing, where it came from, why it's here, what it means, what I do about it, all of that is totally made up. All of it. Completely, utterly made up and irrelevant. There is a sensation here. That sensation has a kind of life to it. It does. And when you open to it in that way, when you see that this is a sort of visitor, and that this visitor is not ill-intentioned, this is not some malicious enemy, this is not an attack. If something like self-loathing has been a constant companion to you, as it has in my life, then can you recognize that it is in fact a companion? Just because the sensation of it is different, just because it communicates differently, just because it has this veneer that is frightening. Can you see beyond that? Can you stop judging a book by its cover? Can you see that this sensation, this experience, first of all, has no meaning to it? It doesn't mean anything about you. It simply is the experience that is. And second of all, that it is following you because it wants your attention. It wants your engagement. It wants the love that you are. The love that is your unfiltered, unobscured, undivided attention upon it. That kind of attention is the same thing as allowance. It is the same thing as non-attachment, whatever word you want to use, non-judgment. All of that is just a part of it. Those aren't things that you have to try to do. You don't have to try to stop judging it. You don't have to try to allow it. When you turn and face this sensation, and you just stop following any narrative about it, and you just say yes in this moment, yes to the experience of this sensation. Then it opens up before you. It unfolds before you like a landscape. And suddenly you are in this kind of alien forest that is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's breathtaking. It is like nothing you've ever seen before, because you've never looked at this. You've never actually stopped and looked at this. Not analyzed, not critiqued, not tried to comprehend, just looked. With your true eyes, your real naked eyes of absolute innocence and wonder. And suddenly it is just this recognition that, wow, this is a world for you to explore. This is a sacred place. This is a special place. This is a place that few have tread. In fact, this incarnation of it is special to you. Nobody else is going to see this place. This is your secret garden. This is your sacred grove. And to tread here and to recognize that this landscape is opening to you. When you invite it, it invites you. And it unfurls and unfolds, and it is the most gracious of hosts. It is so excited to have your witness, your true witness, which carries no charge. It is neutral, but it's not detached. This is what I'm learning too in all my study and practice of non-duality. True neutrality is not detachment. You are fully there. You are fully invested in this moment and this experience. It's just in your investment purely in the experience for having it. It's allowed to be whatever it is, and there's no focus on past or future. There's nothing about a result. This is it. This is the whole. You are in the experience. Open to it, loving it, fully there, fully in this moment, feeling, saying, I want to feel this fully. It is like walking through a forest and trying to take it all in, and there's just so much, and it's beyond comprehension. This is not a thing, this is not a place to comprehend, because there is no, first of all, purpose to that, and there it's just, I don't know how to describe it aside from being on an alien planet and knowing that even if you tried to understand these things, you couldn't, because they're operating on a whole other basis of existence than your frame of reference comes from, right? So it is this pure witness of sort of the miracle of life, the miracle of the diversity of life. Taking it in, marveling at it, feeling it excitedly on display for you. It's like watching flowers, alien flowers, sensing your presence and blooming in front of you, saying, look, we've been waiting for you to see us. We've been waiting for you. Nobody else is going to see this. This is just for you. That is what it has felt like to walk into sensations that I was averse to, specifically sensations that I would have called self-loathing. And it's not always this. It's not always this, okay? Sometimes I don't get there, right? And that's fine. Sometimes what I get to is an approval of my disapproval, of the experience of disapproval, I should say, because it doesn't exactly belong to me. It's just a sensation within me. Sometimes feelings are there, thoughts are there, and I can feel the rising of anger within me, saying no to them, saying, I hate this. And that was a sensation that I had a deep aversion to and a lot of judgment of, that I'm now practicing approving in myself And something really fucking magical happens when you have a sensation of hatred and you approve of the sensation. You're just allowing it to be there. You're just saying yes to this experience. You are acknowledging, admitting to yourself that this feels kind of good. It feels kind of good to push against something. It feels kind of good to say no. It feels kind of good to say, I don't like that. Fuck that. It feels good. When you can acknowledge that it feels good, you can say yes to the experience of it, and then you're in a place of loving. You are being authentically the lovingness that you are, even as you are loving the experience of hatred within you. And then that experience of hatred is transformed, and it doesn't spew out into the world as violent reaction against anyone or anything, because you're acknowledging that you love hating this, whatever this is, within you or without. And in your love of it, you don't want it to change. You want it to be there. You want it to continue the way it is. It's okay if it does change, but you don't need it to, because you're enjoying the sensation of anger rising against it. You're enjoying the sensation of hatred. You are allowed to like your no. You're allowed that. Whatever it is that you feel, you're allowed to like feeling. And you're allowed to like that you like feeling it. This is nothing new. In fact, I am realizing now that this is what Eckhart Tolle teaches, just in a very soft way. He's teaching left-handed technique from a sort of right-handed feeling perspective, but it is left. It is left, because it's wholly embracing the totality of experience. Same thing Abraham Hicks talks about, same thing existential kink is about deeply. This on the surface, this is exactly that. These are all teachers, modalities that I have found influential in my experience. They're all the same. They're all the same. They're all teaching the same thing. A deep acceptance of what is in here. That's so much more important than what is out there. What is out there, you can only accept at the surface level, because it is the surface level, unless you start in here. If you are accepting what your internal experience is, then you will accept the external experience also, because it comes back to this. And if you take that a step beyond into approval, which is really true acceptance, to approval, to just allowance, to relaxation, find some level of your experience internally to say yes to acknowledge that this part feels good. Sometimes that means saying yes to a no. Sometimes that means really just being honest with yourself about the fact that you do enjoy what you're feeling, that it doesn't mean anything about you, and it doesn't need to inspire shame or embarrassment, but maybe you enjoy those sensations as well. You are an infinite being here to experience sensation, all sensation that is within you. There is nothing to feel ashamed about. There's nothing to feel embarrassed about. But maybe you enjoy experiencing that. Maybe you enjoy experiencing some humiliation. Maybe you enjoy the experience of feeling failure, or that someone has is disappointed in you, or that someone has disappointed you. Maybe you enjoy. Can you just admit that there are parts of you that enjoy that? It's not a bad thing. It doesn't need to be embarrassing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just sensation. And all sensation can be pleasurable in some way. It's a deeper kind of pleasure that invites everything to be exactly as it is. Anyway, I need to get to work, but I just wanted to say that self-loathing is not a problem. and it is not a danger, and it is not a thing to worry about. It is a friend as much as any other sensation is, and it can be invited, and it can be appreciated, and it can be loved, not with effort, not by trying, not by understanding, by opening to it with curiosity. And then you allow it to be something that it's never been before. It has to be allowed to be what it's never been before, which means you gotta approach it with no preconceived notions. You have to just drop. You have to be able to stand back and drop all of the preconceptions about it, the story about it, and just say, this is sensation. No story about this is true. This is sensation. I have had an aversion to it. It has followed me because I have pushed it away. I want to see what's here. I want to see what's here. This loyal companion that has followed me high and low across my entire life experience here. What happens? Get curious. What happens when I walk towards it? What happens when I invite this sensation in fully? And if I feel fear around that, what happens when I invite that? Can I admit that fear is kind of exciting? Can I admit that fear and excitement are really kind of the same thing? It's just one is including trust and the other one is not. Can I walk towards this anyway? Can I include everything that is coming up in this experience, every sensation that's arising, and just breathe into it and invite this experience, this sensational experience, to unfold? Because there's fucking magic there. I'm telling you. All right. That's it for now. Take it easy. I love you.